the law of value. Before we move into tonight's discourse, let me quickly interject. Money is important as touching your life and destiny. Disregard any notion that says otherwise. It is God's desire that we prosper. Even the Bible says God is glorified when we bear much fruit. Fruit in this sentence is not necessarily talking about plants or the proceeds of plants. It's talking about increase. And what better way to capture increase in a man's life than through financial resources? I did a series on purpose, and in one of the series, I can't recall which one now, I talked about how the absence of finances is the problem for most people. Now, the absence of finances can come in various forms. For instance, health issues. That health issues was a consequence of a bad environment. The bad environment courtesy lack of money. Again, this discourse is not to fuel loss and pursuit of carnality. No, no. That's why I approach it from a biblical standpoint to create the awareness. Finances is something God desires in our life. Finances help you to become efficient. Finances are important. Funny story, I walked into a church one time. The pastor was about to introduce a new series, Benefits of Poverty. I stood up, packed my Bibles, and I left because it's a very foolish topic, trying to teach people what they want to hear. But unfortunately, your reality in and of itself contradicts that teaching. The microphone was bought, the conference in which you're holding is run by generators or diesel. So all of that wasn't gotten for free. Clearly, you are a hypocrite because your message doesn't check out. So money is important as touching life and destiny. Money helps you fulfill purpose. Dismiss this notion people with money are evil, or in order to get money you have to do some cutthroat shit. No, money is like gasoline. It amplifies any object it comes in contact with. So if a good person has money, it's a tool to do more good. If a bad person has money, it's a tool to do more bad. I'm sure majority of you have been put in this difficult situation. A brother comes along and after 30, 50, 60 minutes is a brutal share of his predicament. At the back of your mind, if I had enough money, I would have helped you. And you truly mean it. And there are times where having a shoulder to cry on is what you can offer. And it's good. It's even better when you have a shoulder to cry on and finances to give. The point I just wanted to establish is finances is important. Settle it as a reality. God requests for tithe. If you had no tithe or if you had no finances, He won't request for such. Tonight's discourse is the law of value. And please listen very carefully because majority might foolishly assume this topic would be product centric or merely helping people achieve an outcome. No, value is not necessarily limited to transaction. Value, as I define, is your ability to solve problems that are needed and useful within a geographical context. You are not valuable until your solutions are needed and useful within a geographical context. Then you qualify to become valuable. Value. I've given this analogy countless times. Let's use it again. Imagine a woman who sells diapers in the university. Now, what are her odds of success? Very slim. If you take that same product in a daycare, what are what are her odds of success? It begins to increase significantly. In fact, she can build a brand such that if a child messes himself up, instead of waiting for its parent or his or her guardian to arrive, you can just take diapers on credit. When his parents arrive, he pays off the debt. That can be a system you devise in order to give value. But the point I'm trying to highlight is the business did not change. The woman did not change. What changed? Location. Location. The environment of which the value is being provided. Ask your friends in the petrochemical industry. They would share crude is sticky, black pastry. It is something that is detestful. Yet, because you've learned by experience that food is valuable, you put aside every prejudice in order to farm this dirty liquid. This whole idea of prejudice is enhanced by race, skin color, and all of its varieties. Prejudice is an excuse for incompetence. If you are very valuable, it vetoes all kinds of bigotry and things against you. If a billionaire's daughter is about to die, he doesn't care if the surgeon is black, green, or pink. As long as you can provide her health, he's willing to pay and you would reap the rewards thereafter. I was speaking with one of my very big friends. I said to him, if someone, a green man, walks through that door with the potential to 20x your business, would you hire him on the spot? That was his response. On the spot. From that example, an astute businessman is willing to veto all kinds of prejudice, bigotry, naysaying. Why? At the expense of value. You must be that valuable in order to command careful results. Value, value, value is very important. How valuable are you? This is a season where you refuse to get angry. This is because it's a clear explanation of how valuable you are. My uncle doesn't want to give me a job. This person doesn't want to give me a job. Stop getting angry at people. In fact, if you are connected to wealthy people, wealthy individuals who has paid the price such that they can elevate your status within a day and it seems they cannot recall. Yes, there are other variables, but amongst all, you are not that valuable. You are not that valuable. You are not that valuable. Value. you're not that valuable. Value is important. XYZ didn't give me the contract. The real question is, are you valuable? If given the contract, can you deliver on schedule? Can you do the job? Can you do it efficiently? Most people have not scaled to that echelon of competence. Let me make something clear. Competence and mastery are madness, especially here in Africa, where just delivering on your product sets you above 90% of businesses. If you're listening to me, opening a business in Africa or in Nigeria is something you desire one day. One of the best assets you can give that startup is integrity. Not just integrity based on the moral standpoint, but integrity of work. Because Nigerians, Africans by large, are so used to substandard service such that when they see something otherwise, it's a permanent stay. I recall one time at the infancy of my management company, and one of the resilience factors, one of the reasons most people trust us with their property is the level of efficiency attached to our conduct. But that's not the discourse of tonight. About to get a car and looking for various brands, who can I trust, etc. Eventually, I found this guy who's been running ads with a couple of influencers. He has a couple of reference. His portfolio checks out. Now was really, I went through a lot of effort to find someone who is trustworthy in order to give him my money. It's not like that in other countries. In other countries, there is competition for your money. Every single person offers good service. By every, at least 90%. That's above average. So if every single person offers the same service, it becomes very difficult to stand out. Perhaps in order to attract customers, it will be based on price and quality. So a little more for a little less. If you're an astute businessman, one thing you learn or one thing you already know by now is that reducing price is not the best way to go about. It's better you add more value and keep the price constant than otherwise. Reducing price is an indicator to your customers that they are being cheated. You see all these Black Friday sales and the 50% off. Well, how much is it worth anyway? No matter how benevolent you are, nobody would ever do business at his detriment. Very few people are willing to risk the profit motive in their business conduct. Value, value. For the sake of time, we end it here. It's always my friend. Pleasure speaking to you. See you in the next one.